Hey everyone, it's Makito here, or Michael Sherman from the MGA League. I am doing a review for the H League, which will be Vasher for the third round. Vasher versus Rmckin5324. For this game, let's take a look and see how it went. Everything looks normal here. Everybody played in the corners, that's good. Black made an enclosure on his 3/4 stone, that is good. And white focused on making sure black can't get two enclosures. They say if your opponent can get two corner enclosures on 3/4 stones, that is extremely beneficial. So, like points wise and strength wise. So, the white played very well here. And this is where things got a little uncommon. I don't think it's bad because it's pincering the stone and building this up here. So it's not really it's not really a mistake per se, but I do feel like the most common moves would be over here to build and keep putting a pressure on this stone. Let's say if white played, I don't know, something like this, you could see now that white is really cramped and black should be able to get good positions on both sides. Or the Shusaku opening, or Kasumi I should say. And this is a bit older and slower, but it's very solid. Like, black is okay on this side, he can take the corner at any time. The Shusaku is old, but it's still, worth a lot. If we check the Josekipedia, A and B are the two most played moves when white approaches low on the 3/4. So that's where I got these from, other than from my own experience. So, once again, I don't think it's too bad though. This was okay. I'm used to white doing some type of jump out, but I don't mind this. It's building a base, it's keeping black separate. The only thing I'd worry about is getting cramped. Like if it wins something like this, like white's not gonna die, but black is building like really well on both sides. So that's what I'd worry about, but it's fine. So black playing here, this is where I felt like the first problem came in. This is what they call a third class move when it comes to opening move rankings. This is a side where both players kind of have a stone, and so I feel like right now this isn't the focus. When you play with opening theory, it's that you focus on the corners first and then the sides. In this particular corner could be taken away very easily, or this black stone could be attacked very easily. So first I thought this would be more than fine if it went something like this for white jumps and black jumps. But yeah, taking these corner points is a lot. So, or even playing something like this, you might lose the corner, but this is solid, and then you can play. I would go even further. I wouldn't play over here. I'd play even further. But regardless, this move is a bit slow, and it's considered a third class move, not a first or second priority. So showing for black, yeah, either here, 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 maybe here still, but anyway, so white did really well double approaching this stone. This stone is really hurt now. And this move was also an issue. It's a very slow move. So A is on what I have nicknamed as the loser line, or the second line. And I've talked about this a lot. If you don't know, these lines here from the board have names and uses. And normally you don't want to play on the second or first line because especially so early in the game, because it's not efficient. Go is all about efficiency. So the better you move, the more territory you can get, and the more pressure you can put on your opponent. So the first line is the ground. Same with all these first lines on the edges of the board. Think of the center like the sky. The second is the loser line, which means that if you're playing on the loser line early, you're only making 1 point, 2 points at a time, and that's gonna be very inefficient and non-beneficial for you. The only time you really want to play on the first and second line is when it involves life and death in the opening. So a lot of the times the second and first line wait until the end of the game. So in the opening you want to stay on the third and fourth line. The third line is the territory line. This is where you can easily get territory without having to worry about getting invaded. You might get pressed down, but you won't get invaded easily. And if you do, usually you have the advantage. And the fourth line is the power line. It's the line that can be undercut. Let me see, like this move here, right? Like black at any time can undercut white. But by the end of the variation, white will have lots of influence facing the outside. And influence is power. It's the ability to use it to attack. So the fourth line is the power line. So to get into all that, A is very, very slow. It's on the loser line, and it's not going to net black a lot of points. If anything, it helped white get stronger because black is touching white, and so now black has become stronger by counterattacking this stone. This surprised me because white's one way move away from like killing this, so then like why did black play here at all? So I thought black maybe should have just pulled back and stuck with his plan, I guess, for now, but it's okay. I know that you want to break up this area, so I don't know. I just thought it was weird that you played here, but that's okay. We'll move on. Oh, I guess also if we go back, instead of playing here, you know, I might consider pulling this out in some type of manner to try and get out of this situation, because you have at least 2 to 3 stones against the 1. Or if you wanted to leave this alone and just give white the corner, then maybe then I would play over here, or even really any of these corner approaches would be fine, but we'll move on. So let's see, focus on the corners first and the sides. What move are we on? Move 14. Okay. Also S is damaged heavily. Pullback is common. Okay. Yeah, so sorry, I write these notes down to help me with the review, and then I'm not even looking at them. So yeah, this is more of a side focus, so that's why I was saying you should approach one of these corners first, because you want to focus first on the corners and then the sides. So this move felt pretty slow. I think you should have played something like this, because it helps build a base for this stone. It's moving quickly, and it's putting pressure on this corner, so it's keeping either white low, or it's building a really nice base for black, so you don't have to worry about this group so much, and then you can, you know, do something else. But this move just felt a little slow, especially since they're all on the third line, so this group can be easily pressed down. I don't like that they're all on the third line. When you play Go, especially in the opening, you kind of want a nice balance of 3 stones on the third line, the territory line, and fourth line, the power line. So that way it's a lot harder for white to press you down, and you can make some more points. But even then, I don't think this is the right place to play. Once again, I think you should help your stone out here and limit how much white can make in this area. So this was this was okay for black until here. This was a very big mistake because white just easily takes it now, and white has no issues whatsoever, and black has cutting points all over the place. So this particular move was a little strange to me. What I wrote down here, or maybe I didn't write it down. Oh yeah, I didn't. Okay. If a opponent hits you, they physically put contact on your stone, you should always be assessing how many liberties you have, and then strengthen yourself or counterattack. Those are the two options that you should be looking at first when any stone touches you. So by doing neither, it became a really bad position for black here. And this move was weird. I'm assuming it was a misclicker or something. Because, I mean, you put yourself in a situation where you only have one liberty and no friends, so it just didn't seem right. I don't think, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I don't think that was like a conscious decision. So this move is a bad move. And the reason is because here and here can be split with one move. It only takes one move, and these are split. This is called the Romeo-Juliet split. You're going to find that when it comes to the basics and fundamentals, you're going to hear this a lot, which is to stay connected. You don't physically have to be touching to be connected, but you want a connection, which allows you to become connected. And by playing moves that are easily broken apart, the Romeo-Juliet split here, then you're allowing your opponent to just cut you to shreds, and you're gonna lose a lot of stones, and you're gonna have bad positioning. So instead of a move like this, I would have just stayed connected. I might come back here, and yeah, I wouldn't play this because you get cut apart. So this isn't that fun either, but white is only making 1 point at a time, and black's getting a pretty strong wall, although it gets negated by this. So that's why at some point I wanted to come back here, but you don't want to do it now because you'd get hit on the head of 2 stones. So that's why I would extend, and then maybe now I would come back. So it'd be like this. And you can see that black has a really strong wall here and a lot of center influence. So, alright, let's move on back to the original game. Yeah, and this, I don't know if you've heard this, but this is an empty triangle. It's known as really bad shape. The reason being is because if we look here, this has 8 liberties. It's a very efficient shape. 8 liberties. It's the most you can get. And this shape, this stone and this stone shares this liberty. So this is a very inefficient shape. In Go, it's all about, since we can only move one at a time, it's all about efficiency in our movement and shapes. And by making bad shapes like this, or over here, we are not playing efficiently. We're not making territory in the best light. We're not making good shape, and we're not gaining ourselves the most liberties. So it's known as a very bad shape, and I don't think it needed to be played right now. If you were looking to save this group, maybe I would try this. Still, it's broken and not that good, but if you were trying to save this group, that's what I mean. As for this group doesn't need saving, right? Like, a move like this is, I guess, telling me that you want to get stronger over here, but even if you let this go, you know, it's a diagonal connection. He can't break you apart. If he plays here, he'll get killed. And if he plays here, you're connected. So your diagonal connection is, you know, fine, so you don't have to strengthen it. But we'll move on. So white did really well here by breaking all this up. It looks like a very difficult game for black. And if we go back, that's because of these slow moves here. So like this is a slow move that got you in trouble over here. And then this is a slow move that got you in trouble here because you played a slow move and then abandoned it. So, and finally, this was definitely a big miss because now white, it just has no problems. And so when white has no problems and black has a bunch of cutting points, then it's an easy game for white. And this was really slow, but once again, I'm just assuming it's a misclick or something. Yeah, we'll move on. This is also really bad shape. Try not to let yourself get broken easy. You really don't want to play moves that can easily be broken up. Okay. I actually went a lot into this, but I already feel like I found the root of, you know, why black had trouble in this game, and you know, a lot of good tips, but we'll continue. I'll keep going a little longer. Let's stay. Move 36. Okay. Yeah. So here again, this is fine. When you're weak, you wanna touch your opponent, so then when they attack you, you can become stronger. So this is a good. You know, I think it's a good move for this situation. Although the whole situation itself is rough. But this move, this is another basic or fundamental that you need to really learn. So this is that Romeo-Juliet split. This happened in the game for the second time, and it broke apart A and B, Romeo and Juliet. When you make shapes like this that can just be broken in one move, it's very, very bad. So, and the same thing here, like you need, when somebody touches your stone, you want to count how many livers you have, although this makes the empty triangle, so maybe I'd just give it up as a whole, something like this, and if white takes, then you can, oops, yeah, you can play something like this and keep all your points and not have, now this becomes a lot stronger. But yeah, this Romeo-Juliet split, and you don't want to play moves that can be broken easily. I'll try not to harp on it anymore. But yeah, it's broken through. And this is broken through. So this is another slow move. If you remember earlier in the review, this is the second line, aka the loser line. This is not the right time to play this type of move. Also, it's focusing on the side right now, when in the opening you still want to focus on the corners. So if there's corners that haven't been activated yet, then you want to focus on those. Also, when you played here, this group is still waiting to be activated too, so it's kind of tough. It's tough all around. But yeah, I would first focus on attacking this corner, and then maybe I would come over here or here. I mean here. One of these for this corner later. I think I'd first go here, see how white responds, and then maybe I'd do a cross cut, or I'd strengthen myself. Probably do a cross cut to try and find some benefit here. And maybe even abandon this corner, because like this looks pretty broken and dead, and this looks pretty, it looks very hard for black to keep the corner unless white makes a mistake, like something like this. So yeah, this was slow, and I think responding here was a little slow too. I think I feel like this doesn't put any pressure on black, and you have way bigger moves to do. So like something like this, maybe, and you could work on this corner, trying to take the full corner and kill all these stones. Even like something like this, just to take the full corner and keep these stones weak. There's a lot more points here than there is here. So the way that you want to look at the game is you want to look at where you can make the most profit, almost at all times, unless like there's a life and death situation, which down here is almost a life and death situation. So this is the focus. So when A was played, the same rule applies from here and here, where, let me just see what move type it is. Here we go. Contact plays. So when white loses a liberty, white has 3 liberties and then is down to 2. 2 is not a good number for liberties. So you might want to consider strengthening in some manner. This one I don't really advise. Maybe this. But I wouldn't advise that either. I think I'd just play here. And this activates the ladder later. I'm just curious. It looks like this ladder is good for white. So let's say if black, messed up, you can get this nice ladder going. I mean, honestly, I'd probably still strengthen myself, but anyway, the point is when somebody touches you, the basics and fundamentals are to either counterattack, which in this case I don't think is that good, or strengthen yourself in some type of manner. So by playing over here, this wasn't the focus. The reason is because A, B, D, E, all this stuff here is alive. Even if black was able to save himself, which he isn't. Because if black played here, you just kill. And I don't see any other moves for black that he wouldn't die, right? Like this dies. This dies. And as I showed you, this dies. So because this area has no way of dying for white, this isn't the focus right now. So you shouldn't play moves like that. I'd 100% like play something over here to strengthen yourself. That's a good rule of thumb. If somebody touches you, this contact physical play, then you want to strengthen yourself. Okay, let's see. So this became the focus, right? Like this is where black can now come back in the game. Maybe something like this. Like now black will be taking the corner, or at least some of it, and will have no problem living. I'm not even really looking too hard into this, but the idea is that if black even just gets one more move here, he can turn the tides in this game. Well, not the tides, but at least this corner. So I guess the question becomes, you touch this stone here, so I don't know why you don't continue the fight. Because when you play here, that's saying like, hey, I want to attack these or get out, and then you'd play it over here. And this stone doesn't really matter right now. This group is always going to be alive, so this isn't the focus here. It's definitely right here. Focus on the corners, the sides, reading. I think honestly, there is more to talk about here, but I think I'm gonna end it here. I think I'm looking at the close. I guess I got a few more minutes. All right, let's continue then. So this is a cutting point, and new players are usually scared of cutting points. But even if you are scared of getting cut here, do at least 1, 2, 3 reading. Let me just roll. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3 reading is putting a stone down here in your head. Say this is white. Well, now if you play as black, where should you play? If you play incorrectly, you can see that black might be, well, will be in trouble. So that's 1, 2, 3, and you can already tell that. And I guess I'll put them down so you can see them. You can already tell that black is in trouble, right? This will die for black. This will die for black. But you have another option. So if we go back, 1, 2, 3. Now, does it look like there's any trouble here if it went like this? 1, 2, 3. No, because there's a ladder, and you could just put them into the wall if you really wanted to. Right? There's no trouble here. You could ladder this way. Oops. So this is a cutting point that you were afraid of, but you need to do the reading in order to figure out if you need to protect it or not. Because if you just go around protecting it when it didn't need any protection, then you lose a move. You're literally giving white 2 moves on the outside in order to just save something that didn't need saving in the first place. This is called Sente versus Gote, and right now you are in Gote, and white takes Sente, meaning the initiative. White gets the initiative on the outside. So, yeah, my point is that if you're ever scared of a cutting point, make sure to at least do 1, 2, 3 reading to find out if it's actually worth protecting or not. Losing a move, it's not worth it if it's already safe. This move, I think, is the wrong timing, and the reason is because there's so many more moves for white that you could make more points. Taking a corner, that's big. Doing this is probably priority number 1. I talked about this and how, like, if you get 1 more stone stronger, then this becomes a big problem for black. Attacking this stone or uprooting it so that it can't make anything here and you can make a bunch of points here. This is a good idea. So by focusing on the corners first, and then the sides, and then the middle, this is like more of a middle area, you'll make more points faster by focusing on the corners first. Once again, though, with all this contact fighting, this is the focus of the area. So we'll go on. This one. Move 56. 1, 2, 3 reading. So when you're in close combat, you got to read the possibilities out. C can now be attacked by A, right? And then you make an empty triangle, and this is bad shape, and black's out on the outside. This would be really good for black. B, it's not nearly as bad. It's actually pretty decent for white. The only thing I would say is that black has Sente, because black was able to Atari you. But I don't think this is a good move. This is definitely the move. But yeah, by playing C, you're allowing A, which is really bad for white. So when you're in close quarters combat, you're physically touching stones. This black stone hit white, and so you reacted. You want to read out, like, if I play here, what's black's next move going to be? This would have been the correct answer, because now black can't Atari you any which way. And he has 2 cutting points, so it's leaving a big weakness here too, if black plays somewhere else. But yeah, so I didn't really like C. In A, it just confused me because A only has 1 liberty, and it's inside the tiger's mouth. So you have to count your liberties. You have to. It's a must in this game. Let's see, usually don't want to touch stones. So empty triangle. Black was able to take the corner. Is this the move? No, not yet. So this move, there was some stuff in there that we could talk about, but I just really want to point out the basics and fundamentals because, you know, I keep seeing these. So this move here, you're touching your opponent. This allows your opponent to move faster than you are. See how black is ahead in this race? So you usually don't want to touch your opponent unless this is a weak group, which it isn't. It has like a lot of corner potential and good connectivity. So I wouldn't play this type of move at all. I would much rather just take a bigger corner, uplift or uproot this stone. You know, there's a bunch of other things you could be doing, and this one doesn't feel efficient. And it's breaking the rule of touching a stone when you don't have to. Touching black should only make black stronger, which is bad for white. Okay. This is the last thing I'll point out here. Don't play behind enemy walls unless you're weak, or it will... Whatever. No. Let's see. Yeah, don't play behind enemy walls if you can't make eyes in here. So there's no potential for black to do anything in here. So all this is a wasted move, and now it gives white Sente to take a really, really big move. So yeah, these are the basic fundamentals here. Very quickly we'll look at AI Sensei, and we'll look at mistakes that were over 5 points. So this was the first one where it was like a really, really big mistake, and we talked about this one. By counting liberties, you would not make this mistake. If we go back just one move, you could see white touched black, so now's the time to evaluate or assess how many liberties you have, because you were just hit. And then you can either counterattack, or you can connect yourself, make yourself stronger. This was a bad move. This is apparently worth 11 points. I really didn't think this was bad, but I do see like out here is much more important. So like playing something like this, white is out into the center, which is really, really good. So that's why it's saying it's like that bad. And this we talked about, this is a shape that's easily broken up. It's very bad. The Romeo-Juliet split is generally very good. The only reason it's saying that it's not good is because A is that much more better. White right now is winning by 20 points, close to 20 points. But if white was to play here, he would be winning by 25. So that's why that's saying this is bad, even though this is an incredibly good move for breaking up black. The empty triangle, we talked about how bad that is. This move, we talked about why it's extremely slow. It's being played on the loser line, and it's off topic. Like everyone was fighting here, so why was the fight not continued here? And we talked about this move. These black stones are already dead, and white's super strong here. So there's no reason for white to play a move like this when the focus should be the fighting here. Yeah, we talked, and the computer I think is gonna keep screaming at us because we didn't play in this area. Yep. This was a negative 17 move, almost 20-point loss. We talked about connecting things that don't need to be protected, so this is already like strong enough. And we talked about this is off topic. This is the area we're supposed to be playing in, and also you want to focus on the corners and sides first before the middle area. Okay. Yep. -10 move. We talked about counting liberties. You always want to count your liberties. What are we looking at? Ooh, we're at the 35 marker. I should really end this. Okay. I am going to end it. And so I hope this helps. There's a lot of fundamentals that you can focus on. Especially if you like reread these and like try and understand them and follow them. So I really hope this helped, and I hope you have a good day.